Well, good morning. Welcome to Nashville. Michael and I have been working on that for a year, and I probably screwed it up, but I want to say it is great to be here, and we're sort of doing a public service for Nashville. All of you, when you come into a room, bring sunshine into your room for your members. Well, if you know anything about Nashville, Nashville has had some challenges. They've had some rain. They've had this has been the worst month of rain in 100 years for Nashville. So when I got here Friday, some of you were here and the rain started to clear up, but now you're all here and the sun is out. So we've really done a great service for Nashville. So I think they owe us a good time, right? So I'm here to talk about CMAA. This is my 5th conference, and boy, does time pass quickly. I want to talk about where we've gone the past few years, but in particular this past year. And we followed a strategic plan that we worked on when I came into the association, and it was really you all put your thoughts into it through a membership survey, of which we have another one out there now asking you what you think CMA should be doing, through our managing directors and chapter leaders working together. About 1/3 of the members worked on that strategic plan. Well, that's really what we've been working on the past 4 years, and I think CMA has done exactly what you wanted it to do, and we've gotten more and more successful for you and more value for you as we've gone along. So let's talk about what's happened over the past year. First of all, last year, you all said, let's change the name from Club Managers Association of America to Club Management Association of America. 96% of you said that's what we wanted to do. Well, we have a new name. And that name not only extends out to the National Association, but we've been working on our relationships with and how we present ourselves, both chapter and national. And all of our chapters are starting to use one standard logo, so we can be like some of our peer associations, the PGA and GCSA. And really, when you see the CMA name, you know it is, whether it's at a chapter level or a national level, part of CMA. Financially, let's talk financially. We have had another successful year financially. We ended up the year, as you can see, these are the past 4 years that I've been sort of watching the purse book. We've grown from $9 to $11 million as an association. Again, we had a healthy bottom line this past year. What's significant is our board this year realizes that we have a big balloon payment coming on our building in a few years. So what they have done is said anytime we have a net excess or a profit, we're going to take half of that and put it aside for that rainy day and to help pay that balloon payment. So the rest will be poured back into value creation for you, but I think that was very prudent of our board, and I'm very pleased with our financial results. Next up is our membership. Our membership is strong at 6,700 plus members. We had a record year last year of new members, 742 members. And what that tells you is that we are a profession that has new folks coming in, people retiring, people moving out of club management. And so that vibrancy of CMA that some of us may have been here, I saw some people that were here for 40 years for conference, we have a lot of new folks here as well. So welcome those newbies. They have that B on their badge because they are the future of our profession. We've also been focused on growing our communities, whether it be women in club management or young professionals or others. It is a focus. We are now, as Club Management Association of America, we are lots of different types of professionals in clubs. So we want to really grow that ability to provide you value by growing our communities. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that with something that's coming this year. Next up is we have our fellows. This is a program that our board approved 2 years ago. We are going to have the inaugural class of fellows in a few minutes be recognized. It's been a secret, and it's peer nominated and peer selected. These are active professionals that are the people that we aspire to become as we continue up our chain of club management. You have to be an active professional in order to be considered for a fellow. So we haven't yet got to icon status, but we have an icon with us today. That person is Meade Grady. Meade, you are an icon. Those of you that don't know Meade need to say hello. Mead is the person who helped start the Club Foundation that has spawned the foundations all across our chapters and helps many people get through their CCM. Speaking of the CCM is 50 plus years old. Mead, I know you were in one of the first classes of CCMs. Pretty special. What's also special is we share a birthday with Mead. CMA is 92 years old, was created in 1927. Mead was also, and I'm probably telling tales out of school, but Mead also has that birthday of 1927. So it's pretty special to have you here, Mead. We look forward to seeing you all around the conference. Let's continue on. We're going online. We're not just about paper and the website and the magazine. We are online and we're very focused online. This year, one of our online tools that we added for you was a podcast. Melissa Lowe and Kyle Jennings organized that, and if you haven't listened to our podcast, you need to get online and get that podcast. It's a great way to listen on your drive home, listen on your commute in, or just listen in general. We've also been pushing forward on making sure that we increase our research and increase our data collection. I'm pleased to say our Club Resource Center, which is something that if you haven't looked at, I would encourage you to look at because it offers a whole portfolio of services for your club at about $100 a month, from training to your club to data and other research. And those that have access to the Club Resource Center are using it more and more strongly. As you can see, we've had a 178% increase in use of the Club Resource Center. It is something that's not just for members. When you buy a subscription for your club, it goes to everybody in your club. So I encourage you to look at that while you're here. We've already recognized our partners, but I also want to say thank you to our partners. They are critical to our success. They help us in many ways, not just financially, both at CMA and the Club Foundation, but they help us in guiding the association and being thought leaders for the association, as many others are. And so we appreciate all of our partners. We're here in Nashville, and I'm going to reflect back first on San Francisco. San Francisco was a great conference, and from an attendance standpoint, we increased our attendance by about 10 to 15%. I was thrilled. And then we came to Nashville. We increased our attendance over top of San Francisco by another 10 to 15%. Many of you may have had hotel challenges. We got the same number of hotel rooms that we always do, but we had to add 5 more hotels in order to accommodate everybody. This has to be, and we don't have the records of the full attendance, but it has to be one of the top 5 largest attended conferences in CMA's history. Let's move on to professional development. Professional development is our core of why we were created some 92 years ago and still is at our core. Our BMIs are programs that we have run 19 over this past year, and that's just in the United States. We probably did even more of those outside the United States through our partners, through Europe, through China, through New Zealand and Australia, and else through Canada and elsewhere. The BMI and the CCM is a global brand, and it is something through our partnership relations with our affiliated organizations. This is the certification for the profession. But it needs to evolve. And so last year, we asked you to go through and do a survey that those of you did it probably hate me because it was a competency survey, and we asked you so many questions about how you spend your time, and we use that to help us figure out how we need to reevaluate the CCM, how we need to upgrade, and how we need to spend more time on certain competencies and maybe add other competencies into our test, into our textbook, and evolve our BMIs. So we started on that journey last year. It is about a 2-year journey. This year is something that we will continue on that path, but it is extremely critical to make sure that you have all the skills necessary to be at the top of your game. And I went backwards. Let's go forwards. We've also added new association management software. For many of you, as you've gotten and checked your credits or registered for conference, it is different. It's never easy to add a new association management system. That is the backbone that runs our operation. But it is something that puts us now into not only current day technology, but gives us a platform for the future. So as we go forward, we'll be able to layer on things to give you more and more value. CMAA Subsidiaries, Club Foundation is very healthy. We also added another subsidiary this past year, the Club Spa and Fitness Association. They both have a separate board of directors. They have liaisons from the national board, but they are organizations that we feel are important to all of you, obviously, and are organizations that we are going to continue to grow. And you'll hear more about the Club Foundation at breakfast. Our annual report's already been mentioned. I encourage you to look at it online. It's all out there, any information that you want, as well as our current audit. So let's talk a little bit about 2019 and some of the things we have cooking this year. First of all, this journey that I just talked about continues, and you will see things begin to evolve later on this year regarding our CCM and the various components of that. One of the other things that we've been working on for about a year and a half that launched this past January was a new BMI, or bringing a BMI back that we used to do. In the elective department, you have BMI Golf or BMI Food and Beverage. We added BMI Sports and Recreation, and we appreciate the Southwest chapter helping us to host that. And it was a very successful program in January, so now we have multiple electives. And this is something that's everything but golf, from family activities to a whole bunch of things. We are also upping our game on our summits. First of all, we've been doing for 3 years governance summits. We are changing the format of our governance summits to hopefully make it even more valuable to you. We've cut the price down to where it's $300 or $150 per person, so the $300 gets you as a general manager and your board member into that governance summit. And we've cut the time it runs now from about 8 to 2 in the afternoon. So we think this is going to be even more valuable as we work with our friends at Copland, Keebler, and Wallace on that. We've also added a communication summit. This is for and focused on the communications in our clubs. It will be next month, in the end of March. I had to think what month we're in. The end of March in Atlanta, and we appreciate many clubs in Atlanta helping to host that. Last and not least, and then that program is about 2 days. Last and not least, we are launching a capital improvement summit that is about a 2-day program that will hopefully be residing in Chicago, and it will launch in the fall. And that will be a program that goes from the start of capital improvements to the end. And it's an area that we know that isn't very important to you, and we want to help provide some educational content in that area. Next is this upgrade on our communities. I talked about a few minutes ago about things that we can add on our new system. One is online communities. So later this year, you're going to start to have the ability to create segmented communities, or we're going to create segmented communities for all of you, and those will allow you to have conversations, go back in the archives of conversations, look at files that are shared, and be able to build an address book of that community and very easily reach out to it. I'm extremely excited about that. It is something that will not only be available on the web, but is integrated with your phone. So it gives you one more thing to do on your phone. Next, we're focused this year on developing a new strategic plan. And if you've not answered that survey that we have sent out, and there was another reminder that is going out to sort of tell us what you think is important and help us understand what some of your challenges are, I encourage you to do that. Because that information will help our committees as we have committee discussions later this spring, and then going into LLC, it will help us as we come together as a community and plan for the next several years of CMAA. I've mentioned a couple times about our relationships with CMAA, with our chapters, and we saw the logo change. This is an area that I think is going to be a big part of our next strategic plan, and we've already gone through some of the hard work to get some framework in place. Much to my chagrin, we didn't have an affiliations agreement with our chapters. And what an affiliation agreement does is it's a license agreement. And it basically protects us, both national and chapters. And we spent about 18 months working through that. It was something that we finalized in the fall and the board approved, and we put out to all of our chapters to sign. I had this big goal of being able to stand up on this stage and telling you that we have at every chapter sign it. And you know what? That goal, that dream came true. Every single chapter has signed their affiliation agreement. That is now behind us, and I am thrilled. And I want to thank all of you that I've particularly nudged to help me get it in so that I could stand up here on stage. But it is the framework, or it is the protection or insurance policy that we need as an organization. Last, and not last, but another important area for our strategic plan is our students. We need to make sure that our students, as they come and look at our clubs and get wooed by hotels and others, that they understand the value and how cool it is to work in a club. So we have a task force, and Randy will talk more about this in his acceptance speech, to focus on this, to do some pre-work, and Mark Beto will be chair of that, to help us do some pre-work as we get into our strategic planning process later this year. I also want to mention Mid-Management Conference is back. It's in New Orleans the beginning of October. BMI Wine and Food Experience is back September 23rd to 26th in Sonoma. And BMI International is every other year, so we will be announcing dates later this year for BMI International in 2020. Last but not least, I get the pleasure of standing up here and talking to you. But I have 28 dedicated people that stand behind me or stand in a truck as we get things loaded up to come to conference. And those are really the special people. Those are really the people that make all the work of CMA happen. And as you go around and you see a staff person, tell them thank you. And the same goes for our managing directors. Tell them thank you. I had a lot of people ask and say, did we send the staff down in a truck? No, we didn't. Just Flat Jeff. Has everybody seen Flat Jeff? Staff wanted to make a body double of me because I can never be too many places, so they felt that they could do a Flat Jeff. So that was a bit of a surprise for me, but I've already seen Flat Jeff getting in trouble. If you have any complaints about conference, go to Flat Jeff. With that, I want to say again, thank you for being here. It is truly an honor to be your CEO. One of the things we do every year is we have an open forum with the leadership. Bobby Crafasi and Randy and I will be on stage. There is no script that we go by. It is basically Q&A. And every year we never run out of Q&A. So if you're interested in that, that'll be Wednesday from 2:30 to 3:30 in room 207. With that, if the clicker works, and I like to push the back button, I am out of here. Thank you all very much.